The human ship drifted slowly through the dark edge of the galaxy. Its engines were quiet, almost dead. Ethan Cole sat alone in the pilot seat, staring at the warning lights on his screen. Red lights. Too many red lights. Fuel was low. Power was fading. Weapons were broken. This part of space was known as the Grave Sector. No trade lanes. No help. Only lost ships and silent stars. Ethan took a deep breath. He had made a mistake coming here. He was not a soldier. He was not a hero. He was only a small trader, flying from system to system, selling food packs, tools, and water filters. Humans like him survived by being careful. But careful did not matter now. The ship shook softly. A weak alarm beeped once, then stopped. Ethan checked the scanner again. At first, there was nothing, just empty space. Then, something small appeared. A signal. Very weak. Very old. He frowned. No one sent signals from the Grave Sector. Most ships here were dead. Their crews long gone. Ethan hesitated. If it was a trap, he could not escape. If it was real, someone might still be alive. He turned the ship slightly and followed the signal. The source was not a ship. It was a broken station, torn open like a wound in space. Metal panels floated around it, slow and silent. No lights, no defense guns, no Empire marks. Ethan's heart beat faster. "Anyone alive?" he said into the open channel. No answer. He moved closer. Then he saw them. Shapes moved near the station's shadow. Thin, tall, not human. Aliens. Ethan froze. His scanner tried to read them, but failed. Unknown species. No data. One of them stepped forward. It raised its hand slowly, showing it held no weapon. Ethan swallowed. Running was impossible. Fighting was suicide. He opened the hatch and stepped out in his light suit. The alien leader was taller than him, with dark gray skin and glowing pale eyes. Its body looked weak, too thin, starving. Behind it, Ethan saw others. Many others. Adults. Children. All of them looked the same, hungry, tired, and close to death. The alien spoke. Its voice was rough, broken by pain. "Human, we asked for nothing but food." Ethan's mind raced. These were Krellans. He knew the name. Everyone did. The Empire called them traitors. Kill on-sight enemies. Helping them meant death. Ethan looked at his ship. Inside were his emergency food packs. They were meant to last him weeks. Without them, he would die. The Krellan leader saw his eyes move. It nodded slowly. "We know the cost," it said. "We do not beg. We only ask." Silence filled the space between them. Ethan thought of home, of warm stations, of people who never had to choose like this. Then he looked at the Krellan children. One of them collapsed to the floor. That was enough. Ethan turned and walked back into his ship. He opened the storage case. Food packs, clean water, protein bars. His hands shook as he carried them out. He placed them on the cold metal floor. Between them, the Krellan leader's eyes widened. "You will die," it said quietly. Ethan gave a small, tired smile. "Maybe," he said, "but you were hungry." The aliens did not rush the food. They waited. Only when the leader nodded did they move. Children ate first. Ethan watched in silence. He felt fear, deep fear, but also something else. Relief. For the first time in hours, the warning lights on his ship did not matter. After some time, the leader stepped closer. "You know who we are," it said. "Yes," Ethan replied. "And still you helped us." "Yes." The alien studied him, long, carefully. Then it spoke words that made Ethan uneasy. "Human Ethan Cole, you have given food to the abandoned." Ethan frowned. "That's not a big thing." The alien's eyes glowed brighter. "In our culture," it said, "food is life, and life creates debt." Ethan laughed softly. "I don't want anything." The Krellan leader tilted its head. "That is what makes it dangerous." A low sound echoed from the station. A warning tone. Not from Ethan's ship. Empire scanners. Ethan's heart dropped. The alien leader turned to the stars. "They are coming," it said calmly. Ethan looked at his ship, at the empty storage case. He had no fuel, no weapons, no food, only aliens the Empire hated. The Krellin leader placed a hand on his chest. "Human," it said, "you do not know what you started." Lights began to glow across the broken station. Old systems woke from long sleep. Ethan felt the space around him change. The grave sector was no longer empty, and somewhere far away, the Empire had just noticed something it should have feared. The first Empire scout ship appeared as a small blue light on the edge of the scanner. Then another, then 5 more. Ethan's chest tightened. Empire ships never traveled alone. The Krellin leader watched the stars in silence. There was no panic in its face, no fear, only focus. "Your people hunt us," the alien said calmly. "They hunt everyone," Ethan replied. His voice was dry. The Krellins moved with slow control. They gathered the children and the weak and pulled them deeper into the broken station. No shouting, no chaos. That scared Ethan more than screams would have. "Why stay?" he asked. "You can run." The leader turned to him. "We do not run anymore." A low hum filled the station. Ancient lights flickered on, one by one. Systems older than the Empire itself began to wake. Ethan looked around in shock. "This place isn't dead," he whispered. "No," the alien replied. "It was sleeping." The Empire ship stopped at a safe distance. A sharp voice cut through the open channel. "Unidentified human vessel," the voice said. "Move away from the station. Now." Ethan froze. If he obeyed, the Krellins would die. If he refused, he would be marked a traitor. He opened the channel. "My ship can't move," Ethan said. "Engines are down." There was a pause. "Krellin life signs detected." The Empire voice continued. "You are ordered to step away." Ethan looked at the alien leader. It did not speak. It did not beg. It only watched him. Ethan swallowed. "They're starving refugees," he said. "There are children." The reply came cold and sharp. "Krellins are enemies of the Empire. Step away or be destroyed." The channel closed. Ethan's hands shook. His whole life, he had followed rules, paid taxes, avoided trouble. Now trouble had found him. The Krellin leader finally spoke. "You may leave," it said. "We will not stop you." Ethan stared at it. "And let them kill you?" "That is our fate," the alien replied. Ethan laughed bitterly. "Funny," he said. "Humans call that fate too." He looked at the empty stars, then back at the station. "I'm not moving," he said. The alien's eyes narrowed. "Why?" Ethan answered without thinking. "Because it's wrong." Silence followed. Then, slowly, the Krellin leader lowered its head. "You are weak," it said. "Yes," Ethan agreed. "But you stand." The Empire ships moved closer. Target locks appeared on Ethan's screen. Then something strange happened. The Krellins began to sing. It was low and deep, not words, not music, a sound that vibrated through metal and bone. The station answered. Hidden panels opened. Dark shapes slid out of the shadows. Old ships, very old. Ethan's breath caught. These were not refugee vessels. These were warships. The Empire fleet hesitated. The Krellin leader spoke, its voice now strong. "We were once the Empire's shield," it said. "We bled for them. We protected their worlds." Ethan stared. "They feared our strength," the alien continued. "So they named us traitors." The Krellin ships powered up. Ancient weapons glowed with quiet power. The Empire voice returned, louder now. "This sector is under Empire control." The Krellin leader looked at Ethan. "You fed our children," it said. "You shared life." Ethan felt his heart pound. "And for that," the alien continued, "you stand with us." A beam of light fired past Ethan's ship, clean, precise. It did not hit. It warned. The Empire ship stopped moving. Ethan understood then. These aliens were not helpless. They were waiting. The Krellin leader turned back to the stars. "Human Ethan," it said, "from this moment you are seen." The Empire fleet began to pull back. Ethan let out a long breath, he did not know he was holding. But he knew one thing for sure. Nothing would ever be simple again. The Empire's ships did not leave the sector completely. They pulled back, forming a wide circle of blue lights around the broken station. Watching, waiting. Ethan sat inside his ship, hands resting on his knees. His heart was still racing. He had faced danger before. Pirates, bad deals, empty space. But nothing like this. Outside, the Krellin ships moved with quiet control. They took positions around the station, forming a living shield. The Krellin leader entered Ethan's ship. Its tall form filled the doorway. Up close, Ethan could see deep scars on its arms and neck. Old wounds. Battle wounds. "You should fear us," the alien said. Ethan looked up. "I think I already do." The alien studied him for a moment, then nodded. "That is good. Fear means respect." They sat across from each other in the small cabin. "You called us enemies," the alien said, "but you do not know our past." Ethan stayed silent. "Long before your people reached the stars," the leader continued, "the Empire was young and weak." It raised a clawed hand. A small light appeared, showing images in the air. Krellin ships, new, strong, and proud, fly beside early Empire fleets. "We were their protectors," the alien said. "Their shield, their sword." The images changed. Krellin standing in front of Empire worlds. Krellins dying while others lived. Ethan felt a tight pain in his chest. "Why hunt you now?" he asked. The light shifted again. Empire leaders. Human-sized. Afraid. "They feared us," the alien said quietly. "Power always creates fear." The image faded. "We were not traitors," the leader said. "We were abandoned." Outside, a soft vibration ran through the station. Systems hummed. Weapons charged. "You could have killed me," Ethan said. "You didn't." The alien looked directly into his eyes. "We do not kill those who feed life." "That's a rule." Ethan asked. "It is a law," the alien replied. The leader stood and walked to the viewport. "Krellin culture is built on balance," it said. "Food is not trade. Food is trust." It turned back to Ethan. "When you gave food, you accepted responsibility." Ethan felt uneasy. "I didn't agree to anything," he said. The alien replied calmly. "Life does not ask for agreement." Suddenly, alarms echoed across the station. Not Empire alarms. Different. A young Krellin rushed in. "Scouts detected," it said. "More Empire ships." Ethan stood up. "How many?" "Enough." The leader remained calm. "Good," it said. "Then they will learn." "Learn what?" Ethan asked. The alien activated another display. A massive map of the sector appeared. Hidden routes. Old gates. Forgotten paths. "This sector belongs to us," the leader said. "They forgot." The station began to move. Metal groaned. Old engines roared to life. Ethan grabbed the wall. "This whole place is a ship?" "A fortress," the alien replied. The Empire fleet advanced again, confident. They believed the Krellins were weak. They believed the human was nothing. They were wrong. The Krellin leader looked at Ethan. "You fed the abandoned," it said. "So now you will see the truth." Outside, the Krellin fleet powered up fully. Ancient symbols glowed across their hulls. Ethan felt the weight of history pressed down on him. These aliens were not running from the Empire. They were waiting. Or Ethan, ex-simple human trader, Abis Kahani Ka Hisaban Chukada. The Empire fleet moved closer. Blue lights turned into sharp lines of steel and fire. Ethan stood near the viewport, his breath slow but heavy. His hands were cold. He had no weapon, no armor, only a weak ship and tired legs. Outside, the Krellin ships held their positions. They did not rush. They did not threaten. They waited. The Empire commander's voice filled the sector. "Krellin forces," it said. "You are surrounded. Power down and surrender." No reply came. The silence felt loud. Then the Krellin leader spoke, its voice calm and steady. "We will not surrender." The Empire's ship spread out. Target systems locked in place. Ethan felt his ship shake as Empire scanners passed over it. They will fire, he said quietly. Yes, the Krellin leader replied. But not first. A single Empire ship moved forward, its cannons charged. Ethan closed his eyes. The shot came. A bright beam cut through space, fast and deadly, but it did not hit Ethan's ship. It struck the space in front of the Krellin line and vanished, as if swallowed. Ethan's eyes snapped open. A dark field shimmered where the beam had been. Shield, he whispered. Older, the Krellin leader said. The Empire fleet hesitated. That was their mistake. The Krellin ships moved as one. No loud engines. No bright trails. They slid forward like shadows. Ancient weapons powered up, glowing with a soft red light. Then they fired. Not wild shots. Not rage. Clean. Precise. Perfect. Empire ships lost engines first. Then weapons. Then control. One by one, they drifted, silent and broken. Ethan could not speak. He watched the fleet, an Empire fleet, fall apart in seconds. This is impossible, he said. The Krellin leader did not look proud. Power in use is forgotten, it replied. The Empire commander shouted orders, panic breaking through discipline. Fall back. Regroup. Too late. A larger Empire ship rushed forward, desperate. It fired everything. The Krellin leader raised one hand. The fortress station answered. A deep sound rolled through space. A single beam struck the Empire ship. It did not explode. It shut down, dead in space. Silence returned. The surviving Empire ships pulled away fast. They did not send threats. They did not speak. They fled. Ethan leaned against the wall, his legs weak. He laughed once. Short, broken. They ran, he said. Yes, the Krellin leader replied. They remembered. Ethan looked at the alien. All this, he said, for food? The leader turned to him. No, it said, for life. It stepped closer. You stood when you could have left, it continued. That matters. Ethan swallowed. I didn't fight. You did, the alien replied. In your way. Outside, Krellin ships returned to their positions. The station's lights dimmed again, but the space around them felt different now. Safer. Ethan knew the truth. The Empire would not forget this, and they would not forget him. Somewhere in the dark, messages were being sent, reports written, warnings shared. A human traitor had stood beside the Krellins, and the galaxy had noticed. The change did not come with noise or celebration. It came quietly, like a shadow moving across the stars. Ethan Cole felt at the moment his ship left the grave sector. The space around him felt different. Empty, but not lonely. Silent, but not dangerous. His damaged ship moved slowly, yet no unknown signal appeared on his scanner. No pirate beacons. No warning pings. It was as if the galaxy itself was keeping its distance. As he entered the first trade route, Ethan stayed alert. This route was known for attacks. Traders usually traveled in groups here. Ethan was alone. His hand stayed close to the controls, ready to react. Minutes passed, then hours. Nothing happened. A small cargo ship appeared ahead, scanned his vessel, and immediately changed direction. Ethan frowned. That was not normal. At the next station, things felt even stranger. As his ship docked, workers stopped what they were doing. Conversations faded. A few people looked at him, then quickly looked away. Others stared openly, fear clear on their faces. Ethan stepped onto the station floor, carrying a small trade case like he always did. He walked the same way. He breathed the same recycled air. But he felt like a different man. A station guard watched him closely, but did not approach. Usually, guards asked questions, checked permits. This time, nothing. Ethan passed without a word. Inside the market hall, traders whispered to each other. He heard fragments as he walked by. The word Krellin followed him like a ghost. One merchant finally gathered courage and stepped closer. In a low voice, the man asked if the rumors were true. Ethan asked which rumors. The merchant swallowed and said the human who stood with the Krellins was said to be untouchable. Ethan gave no answer. He completed his trade and left. The merchant did not try to stop him. As Ethan returned to his ship, he noticed something else. Ships were moving away from the station faster than normal. Departure traffic increased. No alarms were sounded. No official warnings were given. Still, fear moved faster than law. Ethan lifted off and left the system, confused and uneasy. Far away, inside an Empire observation chamber, screens displayed recent events, trade station logs, scanner data, visual records. One image repeated again and again. A human standing near Krellin's ships, alive. An officer stated that the human had no power. Another replied that power was not always shown with weapons. Silence followed. A senior figure spoke at last. The human was becoming a symbol. Symbols were dangerous. Quiet action was required. Ethan continued his journey. His ship systems, once weak and failing, began to stabilize. Fuel levels increased without explanation. Power flow smoothed out. Krellin technology worked silently, repairing what should not have been reparable. Ethan did not ask how. He only accepted that it was happening. Before parting ways, the Krellin leader had told him he was free to go wherever he wished. No Krellin would block his path. That promise carried weight. Days later, Ethan entered a system he had avoided for years. Pirate territory. His pulse rose as warning signals appeared on his screen. Multiple ships. Armed. Fast. The pirates scanned him. Ethan waited for the threat message. Instead, the pirate ship stopped. They held position for several seconds, then turned away. No words. No demands. They fled. Ethan sat frozen, staring at the empty space they left behind. His hands shook. He had not fired a single shot. He understood then. This was not fear of him. It was fear of what stood behind him. Ethan tried to live normally. He traded. He traveled. He spoke little. But the galaxy watched him closely. Some looked with respect, others with fear, a few with anger. He felt eyes on him even when alone. Not physical eyes, political ones, strategic ones. On an Empire world, a sealed document was approved. No name appeared on it, only a target description. A human trader. Minimal defenses, high symbolic value. The decision was simple. If the shield around him could not be seen, it would be tested. That night, Ethan sat in the pilot seat of his ship, lights dimmed, stars slowly passing by. He thought about the moment he gave away his food. He remembered the children eating. The simple choice he had made. He had not saved a world. He had not won a battle. He had only shared what he had. Now that simple act had changed his place in the galaxy. Ethan looked at the stars and felt the unseen presence again. Silent, steady, watching. He did not know what the Empire planned. He did not know what the future held. But he knew one thing with certainty. He was no longer alone. And anyone who tried to touch him would learn the price of forgetting an ancient debt. The trap did not arrive with warnings. Ethan sensed it first as a flicker on his ship's navigation screen. A single pause in the otherwise steady hum of the systems. Then everything returned to normal. Smooth, calm. But Ethan knew ships. He knew space. That pause was no accident. Someone was watching him, and they had planned this carefully. He adjusted his course slightly and kept moving, pretending he noticed nothing. The stars streaked past, but the usual background traffic of signals and ships was almost gone. Something was wrong, and Ethan felt it deep in his chest. When he approached the next station, he noticed how quiet everything had become. Dock lights burned dimmer than normal. The usual chatter of traders, pilots, and engineers had vanished. Even the automated announcements seemed delayed, hesitant, as if the station itself was holding its breath. A docking signal appeared almost instantly on his console, far quicker than any regular schedule. Ethan hesitated. This was not routine. He docked slowly, his senses alert. The corridor felt empty. Shadows stretched unnaturally along the walls. A guard, helmet in place, weapon at the side, stepped forward. Routine inspection, the guard said. Ethan nodded and handed over his ID. The scanner beeped once and paused unusually long. When it finally registered, the guard's eyes narrowed. "You'll need to come with us," he said. Ethan's stomach tightened. "Why?" he asked calmly, keeping his voice steady. Questions will be answered shortly, the guard said. 2 more guards stepped from side corridors, closing in. Escape was impossible. Resistance was meaningless. Ethan lifted his hand slowly, letting them lead him. The transport moved without windows. Darkness pressed in. Ethan counted his breaths, forcing himself to stay calm. Minutes stretched like hours. Finally, the doors opened, revealing a chamber stark with Empire insignia. Cold, clean, official. A tall figure stepped forward, clad in ceremonial armor that marked rank more than protection. The voice was calm, low, but firm. "You are difficult to reach, Ethan Cole," it said. "I'm just a trader," Ethan replied. His voice sounded small in the cavernous room. "That is the problem," the figure said, stepping closer. Behind them, screens lit up, showing every moment Ethan had spent near Krellin ships. Trade logs, ship scans, pirate routes, all highlighted anomalies. Routes cleared, fleets avoided, signals distorted. It all traced back to him. "You are protected," the figure continued. "Not by law, not by force, by belief." Ethan stayed silent, feeling the weight of the words. He did not understand fully, but a strange calm began to spread through him. Then, far away, across the stars, something shifted. In the grave sector, a Krellin child stopped playing. Its eyes narrowed. Around it, others felt the change too, a wrongness in the flow of things. Alert spread across hidden channels long forgotten. The Krellin leader rose from its seat, armor systems waking silently, calmly, like a predator sensing a threat. "So," it said quietly, "they have forgotten." Back in the Empire chamber, Ethan felt certainty settle over him, a calm he had never known in his life. Fear faded, replaced by understanding. He was not alone. Even the figure before him felt it, though they did not yet understand what it meant. Screens flickered. Alarm sounded. The Empire technician shouted, but chaos spread unevenly. Long-range sensors warned of unknown signals, yet no immediate danger was detected. And then the main screen lit up with the impossible. Krellin war forms emerging from regions that had appeared empty only moments before. Not fleets. Armadas. Silent. Perfectly coordinated, and older than the Empire itself. Ethan leaned back slightly, unsure what to feel. They did not attack at first. They did not open fire. They spoke, or rather, their signals did. A single transmission, carried to every major Empire system simultaneously, echoed across channels, untouched by interference. "You touched what was under our protection." Silence followed. And then, subtle but undeniable, power grids flickered across Empire sectors. Defense systems engaged briefly, then shut down. Fleets lost control without being destroyed. Cities experienced brief blackouts. Systems that should have been secure now exposed vulnerabilities, all within seconds. It was a display, a warning, and a lesson. The Empire realized too late the weight of its own fear and misjudgment. Inside the chamber, the figure who had summoned Ethan stepped back, pale and wide-eyed. "Call them off," they demanded. "This cannot continue." Ethan shook his head slowly, a strange calm in his movements. "I can't," he said softly. "That's not how it works." The figure stared in disbelief, realizing that the human before them had done nothing, yet everything had changed. All it had taken was one simple act of kindness, one choice to give life rather than leave it to die. Outside the station, the Krellin fleets withdrew silently, moving back into positions they had always held in the shadows. Their point had been made. No human casualty. No unnecessary destruction. Just proof. Anyone who touched a human under their protection would pay the price, and the galaxy would remember it. Ethan leaned against the console, staring at the distant stars. He had not wanted this. He had not asked for power or attention. All he had done was feed those who were hungry. Yet now, unseen and unspoken, the weight of an ancient debt and loyalty surrounded him. He was no longer just a trader. He was something more, something watched over, something untouchable, and yet more dangerous than anyone realized. The stars outside moved quietly, indifferent to the chaos they had caused. Ethan closed his eyes. He could feel it, the unseen shield of warriors, ancient and loyal, holding steady around him. And he knew that the Empire, for all its might and strategy, had learned a truth that could never be undone. The galaxy held its breath. Ethan Cole sat in his ship, staring at the stars as if they might speak back to him. Weeks had passed since the Empire had tried to capture him, weeks since the Krellans had revealed their power. Yet the weight of what had happened still pressed on him. He had thought he was just a trader, a simple man delivering food to the hungry. Now he understood that even a single act of kindness could shift the balance of the entire galaxy, and he was at the center of it. Reports from distant systems reached him silently, through encrypted channels, pirate whispers, and trader rumors. Every story repeated the same thing. A human standing beside the Krellans, untouched by those who sought to harm him, changing outcomes without lifting a finger. Ships rerouted to avoid him. Pirates abandoned attacks before they began. Even small stations on the edge of Empire space moved with caution, as if they too felt the invisible presence surrounding Ethan. He had become more than human. He had become a symbol. The Krellan leader contacted him once more, through a private channel. "Ethan," it said, "they will return. The Empire does not forget. They will test the shield you carry." "I'm not a fighter," Ethan replied. His voice was calm, but his hands gripped the console tightly. "I don't want war. I just want to trade and move on." "War is coming," the Krellan said, "but not all of it will be your doing. You only need to survive. Stand, and the galaxy will remember why." Ethan sighed. He had no choice. He had always avoided battles, avoided attention, avoided danger. Now it had found him anyway. Days later, an Empire fleet appeared on his radar, larger than anything he had seen before, armed with weapons designed to destroy entire stations. Ethan froze, scanning the formations. The ships moved in perfect synchronization, a disciplined wave of power meant to overwhelm anything in its path. This was not a warning. This was an attack. He activated his ship's engines, moving as fast as possible toward the outer edge of the system. Sensors screamed. The fleet's weapons locked on, targeting every subsystem of his small vessel. Ethan's heart raced. He had no fighter skills, no tactical training, only instinct. Then, the Krellans appeared. From every hidden channel in space, war forms emerged like ghosts. The fleets they had hidden for centuries now formed around him. Their weapons glowed with an alien red light, not destructive at first but precise, ready to disable, intercept, and protect. The Empire fired, but their weapons struck shields, absorbed by fields they did not understand. Ethan watched as his pursuers faltered. Panic spread across the enemy ranks. The Krellan leader's voice came through the comms, calm and commanding. "Do not fire unless necessary. Let them see what happens when life is protected." Ethan's ship moved between the formations, dwarfed by massive war vessels, but completely safe. He realized something profound. He was not controlling this. He did not need to. His choice to give food, to show compassion, had created a network of loyalty that no weapons, no strategy, and no empire could break. He had sparked something greater than himself. The Empire fleet regrouped, attempting another assault. Commands flew like arrows, but orders alone could not overcome centuries of preparation. A single Empire battleship surged forward, its engines screaming, weapons charging. Ethan's scanners locked onto the energy spike. For a moment, he thought this would be the end. But before the beam could fire, a massive Krellan warform emerged in front of it. Its shields absorbed the energy. Its weapons disabled the battleship's engines in a single pulse. The ship drifted, powerless, a warning for the rest. Ethan exhaled. He had never felt relief like this. He had never understood what it meant to matter, to change the course of events by doing nothing but standing. And he had done nothing but feed the hungry. Across the system, the Empire sent transmissions, demanding surrender, offering peace, issuing threats. Every message went unanswered. The Krellans did not reply. They only moved as one, a silent statement. The human Ethan Cole was protected, and anyone foolish enough to challenge that protection would fail. Ethan finally contacted the Krellan leader directly. "Why me?" he asked. "I'm just a trader. I'm not a hero." The leader's voice was soft but carried weight. "You chose life when death was easier." You stood when you could have walked away. That is why you are here. That is why they will fail. For the first time, Ethan understood life, compassion, and courage were not measured by battles fought or empires conquered. They were measured by choices, by standing in the face of fear and doing what was right. And the galaxy remembered. As the empire retreated, the Krellins withdrew into the shadows, returning to hidden routes and forgotten stations. Ethan's ship glided silently among them, untouched, unseen, untouchable. Traders resumed their routes. Pirates spoke in hushed tones of a human who was neither soldier nor hero, yet whose presence changed the fate of fleets. Ethan sat alone in his ship, staring at the endless stars. He had never sought power. He had never asked for attention. He had only given food to those in need. And now, the galaxy had shifted around that single act. He was a simple human, yet the galaxy knew him. He was small, yet unstoppable. He was one man, yet he carried the weight of loyalty, of protection, of debt older than any empire. The stars twinkled silently, indifferent to his thoughts. But the universe had taken notice. And somewhere in the distance, ancient warriors, unseen and patient, kept their watch. Ethan knew that as long as he survived, as long as he stood for life, the galaxy would never forget the human who changed everything by doing the simplest thing. And Ethan smiled, quiet, tired, but certain. He was a traitor human, and now an unlikely shield for a galaxy learning that even one act of kindness could reshape empires.